Hey everybody, Tanya from Colorado. I'm curious, are you thinking like an employee or are you thinking like an entrepreneur? If you haven't made these two mindset shifts that I'm going to talk to you about today on the Daily Dose of Awesome, then you're still thinking like an employee. And I'm also going to cover one habit that you're going to want to break, moving from employee into being an entrepreneur. And if you're hopping on, go ahead and drop your name and where you're from in the comments. Sometimes my phone shows comments and sometimes it doesn't. We're hoping for the best today. And if you come on and say hello, I'm going to give you a shout out if I can see the comments. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Tanya Humphrey and I'm actually one of, hey Bart, thanks for hopping on all the way from Cleveland. I am actually one of the mentors in our Fast Track group. And I'm going to cover today moving from an employee mindset into an entrepreneur mindset. And you might be asking, okay, well, what qualifies you to talk about this particular subject? So I'm going to give you a little bit of my story, a little bit of my background. Make sure that you're saying hello when you hop on so I can see that you guys are on, and it looks like I can see the comments, so that's awesome. For those that don't know my story, I actually was in corporate tech for 17 years. Anyone that knows that industry knows that it's kind of can be, hey Zoe, thanks for jumping on, kind of can be a cutthroat industry. And I was in it for 17 years, had a pretty good career, moved myself up the corporate ladder and felt, pretty good about how things were going, had really good reviews. Hey Carlos from Nashville, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for coming on. Hey Wanda, thanks for joining. Carrie from Virginia Beach, nice. I wonder how's the weather out there. All right, Delaney, thanks for coming on from Atlanta. So yeah, I was in corporate for 17 years. I had a pretty good career. I had really good reviews that were going for me, which was awesome. And then suddenly out of nowhere, after 17 years, I got this really bad review from my boss. And it was like shocking because nothing had changed. I had taken on more work. My output was the same. My results were the same. I was meeting deadlines. Still in the corporate world, and it really did not make sense. Oh, cold there today, huh? It's cold here too in Denver. So anyway, here I am going, all right, what's going on? Well, a really good friend of mine who was high up in the company called me to say, guess what? You've been put on a layoff list because you make too much money. Yeah, welcome to corporate, guys. If anyone who's in corporate, you might resonate with this story that I'm telling right now. So being the stubborn one that I am, I decided that I was going to leave on my own terms. I wasn't going to wait around for them to lay me off. I was going to go ahead and leave on my own terms and walk out the door. So I made the decision to shift from corporate into being a business owner. Around that same time, my daughter was diagnosed with dyslexia as well, and she needed a lot of extra tutoring and help, and it was kind of middle of the day tutoring. So it kind of all worked out, right? The plan worked out. I was able to stay home, shift to being an entrepreneur. See Bart, you know what I'm talking about. And you're right, once you leave, you don't look back. It's say goodbye to the corporate. So I walked out the door and I was able to get my daughter to the tutoring like I was supposed to be able to. But something that happened during that time was that I realized how little corporate prepared me for actually being an entrepreneur, right? And I got hit smack in the face with, I didn't know what I didn't know. I thought I knew way more than I actually did. Hey Samra, thanks for hopping on, good to see you. I thought that I knew way more than I actually did, but when I got out there and started really getting into being an entrepreneur, I realized that corporate put no emphasis at all on mindset, right? And no emphasis at all on how to get your head right. And they also want you to stay in your box, right? They don't want you getting creative and thinking outside the box. So I had a ton of work to do up here. And so can you guys do me a favor and, SoCal, I know the weather's gotta be nice there. It's gotta be nice there, I used to live there. So can you guys do me a favor? Are you okay if I share a couple of lessons that I have learned over the last 4 years since leaving corporate with you? If you are okay with it, drop a yes in the comments for me. So let me know that you're okay with me sharing a couple lessons from this journey over the last 4 years. And I'm gonna share a couple things, and I'm gonna share a couple lessons And I'm also gonna share one habit that I had to break coming out of corporate that I didn't even realize I had as a habit, and you may not too. So, all right, guys, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and share those lessons with you. And I took some notes because I wanna make sure that I remember everything. So lesson one is this, and this was a big one for me. You've got to learn to embrace the journey of being an entrepreneur. JT actually says, embrace the suck. I like embrace the journey because not all of it sucks. Some of it definitely does. You've got to kind of get your head around the fact that this is a journey, and you're not going to jump from a six-figure corporate career right into a six-figure entrepreneur career, or a five-figure corporate career right into a five-figure entrepreneur career. It's just not going to happen. This is definitely going to be a journey. You're going to come into it and realize that you don't know what you don't know, and you have a huge learning curve and a ton of skills that you've got to pick up along the way. And so if you take the time to kind of embrace the fact that you're about to go on this educational journey and learn a ton of things that you didn't know, it makes the journey a lot more fun. It really does, because you realize that you're expanding your brain. And also your mindset is super, super important. So keep your brain filled with really positive stuff. Get out there and read books and get your brain right. Because when you're coming from a corporate world, your brain usually is not right. They want you to stay in your little box. They don't want you to think outside of it. And they want you to, you have a boss. They want you to follow exactly what the boss is saying. You have a CEO that sets the vision, so you don't do that. You're just following the vision. You have VPs who tell you what the tasks are to get to that vision, right? When you come from a corporate background, well, once you jump into being an entrepreneur, that's not the case anymore, right? It's you, and you have all these skills you have to learn. And I don't know how many of you had the skills of being a CEO, a marketing person, an HR person, a salesperson, a finance person, but I personally did not have a career where I covered all of those gamuts, right? And when you get into being an entrepreneur, suddenly you have to have a little bit of knowledge in all of those areas. So it's a big learning curve, you guys. Marketing, right? So you're the person, you're it, you're the one. So you've got to embrace that journey and make sure that you're setting long-term and short-term goals. And they shouldn't all be finance goals. Of course, you should have financial goals as part of your business, absolutely. And I am not one of these that's like, money's bad, money's great. But most of us want the money for the things that it actually brings us in life, right? Most people don't set a goal of wanting money just for the sake of having money. So make sure when you're setting those goals that you also put, attached to it, basically a paragraph that says, why do I want this money? What am I going to use this money for? What does it mean for me? What does it mean for my family? What really is the goal attached to when it comes to setting those financial goals? Because if all you're doing is chasing after the money, it's going to be a long and tedious journey. So make sure you put some meaning behind it, and make sure that you set both long-term and short-term goals. And don't forget to celebrate the small wins. I see some really cool wins in our community. When someone says, I finally went live today, right? And I was freaking out and, oh my gosh, it wasn't as bad as I thought. How many of you guys have had that thought, but they took the time to celebrate it? Like, yes, I pushed that live button. You know what, guys? Those are the kinds of things you got to celebrate, because there it is, a new skill, one that you didn't have. Or I put together an ad today, or I got my first lead today. Whatever the small thing is, go out and celebrate it, because that is what embracing the journey is all about, right? So don't fight the journey to the end, embrace it and take it all in. And that was really tough for me. So that was my first lesson that I learned. The second one, and this one is probably equally important, is learning to get resourceful. So again, you're now kind of a jack of all trades, right? And so learn to love research. Learn to love to get out there and research the heck out of whatever it is that you need to know. And learn to love to dig into training, and learn to love to implement that training. And learn how to surround yourself with a community like this one of mentors and of people that are going along the same journey with you, because there's going to be times when it feels really lonely, and you've got to be able to reach out to somebody and say, hey, I need your help, and ask questions. and get involved with the people that are on this same path with you and understand where your head's at and where you're going. And learn to love Google, you guys, because it comes with a lot of research. But you want to make sure, and I knew I was going to forget this. Oh, I talked about how corporate keeps you inside the box. So learn to start thinking outside the box, right? Get creative, come up with solutions that maybe nobody else has even come up with. Let your brain and your genius inside you out, because everybody has it in there. It's just when you come from a corporate background, it's kind of been squashed. They don't want the genius, they don't want the creative, they don't want, you know, people who are thinking outside the box. They want you to toe the line. Stop towing the line. If you're moving into being an entrepreneur, stop towing the line. Get creative. Break that box into a million pieces and use your inner genius and get out there and do it. And again, it's a mindset thing. It really is hard to go from someone's telling me exactly what to do and I've got to stay within the lines and color inside the lines to, nope, I'm throwing the box and everything out and I'm gonna do what I need to do, right? And I'm gonna use my own creativity and come up with creative solutions. So those are two mind shift sets that you really gotta do, you've really gotta make. Embrace the journey and get super resourceful and learn how to do it. Yes, that's right. Stop towing the line and use your inner genius. That's right. I love that, Sylvia. Okay, so those are the two. And then I promised also to give you one habit that you're gonna wanna break. And some of you may not have this, although I've worked with quite a few corporate people at this point, and a lot of us do have this. You're gonna wanna learn to break the habit of always having the answers and perfectionism. Okay, so a lot of us, I don't know about you guys, but my corporate career literally depended on me having the answers for the teams that I led, having the answers for the customers that I interacted with, having the answers for the salespeople that I worked with. So if I didn't have the answers, it could actually affect my career long term. Guess what, guys? When you're an entrepreneur, you are not going to have all the answers, and that is okay. So look for mentors, look for training, look for things that can help you get the answers and learn to love the research and learn to break that habit. You don't have to have all the answers, and that's okay, because that's how you get creative, that's how you get resourceful, and that's how you get yourself out there. And what is JT saying? I absolutely love this saying. Don't be perfect, just be awesome. One of my favorite sayings that he says. So there's no reason to be perfect. Nobody's perfect, especially like when you're doing things about like lives, for example. Stumble over your words, maybe say the wrong word, maybe have some tech issues. You don't have to be perfect, just be awesome and get out there and take the steps and get out there and take the action that you need to take to move yourself forward. Okay guys, I know this is a little bit of a different DVOA than I normally do, because I normally do more tactical stuff, but I don't know, it just kind of spoke to my heart, so I thought I would share it with you guys today. Hopefully you got value out of it, and tomorrow we will be back with the Daily Dose of Awesome at the same time on the same bat channel. All right guys, have a great day, and talk to you later.